Hi, my name is Deanne Welsh, and I'm a writer and speaker. Before my restorative prayer session began, I was sitting during the worship portion, and God gave me this picture of a room, and the room was almost like a hobbit hole, a cave, and it was dark, it was barren. There were all these nooks and crannies and bookcases, but they were standing empty, and there were cobwebs. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw this vault, and it was locked and kind of pushed in a corner. And I felt God nudging my soul, saying, today we're going to look inside that vault. And I thought, no, I don't want to look in the vault. I knew some of what was in there, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to deal with it. Growing up, I'm a missionary kid, so I moved around a lot. And there was a lot of sadness from all those goodbyes. And so as a defense mechanism, I kept the most sacred parts of me, the most vulnerable parts of me, locked in that vault because it felt safe, and I didn't really want to let people into those deep parts of me. During the restorative prayer session, what came out is that I was carrying this burden of all these feelings of not enough. It was everything from I'm not pretty enough, I'm not funny enough, I'm not outgoing enough, to I'm not a good enough mom, I'm not a good enough wife. And during the restorative prayer session, when I was asked to just speak all of those lies aloud, I was completely stunned by how many of those I felt. I kept talking, it felt like for minutes and minutes, just listing all of these not enough feelings. And I was surprised by the weight of those feelings because it had become normal. I carried them every day, and so it didn't feel like a weight until I actually looked at it and felt it. And then there was such freedom when we took all those lies and bound them to the cross, and just left them there with Jesus, and just the weight that lifted was incredible. And then the picture that I got immediately following binding all those lies to the cross was of that vault, and it was completely shattered. It was in pieces on the ground, completely flat, and suddenly the room that before was full of cobwebs and barren, now it had bright flowers, it had beautiful vases, there was sun streaming in, it was a light place, a colorful place, a warm place. And I felt God telling me, this is your soul. And all those lies, they left you barren, they kept you silent. And now that my truth has come in, I've set you free, and your soul can be creative and colorful and fun. And it was just such a huge transformation. The biggest impact of the restorative prayer session on today is in my connection to God. Previously, I just had this kind of general blanket idea of God that I would communicate with, even growing up in the church. And after the restorative prayer session, I really was able to connect with Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father. And even today, I have a practice where I journal every morning, and at the end of journaling, I end the journaling with a question. So Jesus, what do you have to say to me today? Holy Spirit, what do you have to say to me today? God the Father, what do you have to say to me today? And after each of those three questions, I pause and I will write down whether it's a picture or words or a verse that comes to mind. And I am so thankful for the restorative prayer session, restoring my connection to the Trinity, and even facilitating and helping me discern the voice of God so much more than I was before. I think the restorative prayer session makes God more personal and more invested in my life and more reliable, knowing that I can trust Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father. I sure wish I could be at this workshop with you guys today, but I hope you have a great rest of the workshop, and I'm excited to hear all that God does. Bye.